At midnight, the free pickup box I had left at the curb was waiting inside my locked house. The red mug sat beside my phone, front, door key, and a receipt I had left on the counter. I had placed that mug outside 6 hours earlier, beneath a cardboard sign marked free. Now the watch box sat beyond the locked deadbolt, where no stranger should have reached it. My name is Maribel, and I was 29 during that brutal July heat wave. I rented a narrow bungalow with one hallway outside a Midwestern college town while preparing to move. The house had one front door, one chain back door, small windows, and a weak porch light. My car battery was new, and the vehicle stayed visible through a narrow window above the counter. I worked remotely for an insurance company, checking a claims app during the hottest weather. Every evening I carried unwanted things toward the curb after the pavement cooled. Neighbors called it porch pickup, although our boxes actually waited beside the sidewalk. People claimed items online, then collected them without knocking or meeting the owner. I photographed each box, wrote free in black marker, and turned off my porch light. Old lamps, kitchen tools, and paperbacks usually vanished before I finished washing dishes. The red mug should not have been part of that day's giveaway. I had set it beside the sink, then changed my mind during another round of sorting. That memory explained why its return felt personal instead of merely strange. I checked the deadbolt before touching anything inside the box. It was locked, and the back door chain still rested inside its brass track. None of the screens showed tears, and the dusty windowsills carried no fresh marks. I told myself I had carried the box inside before showering and simply forgotten. Moving it turned every room into stacks, labels, and half-finished decisions. Then I found a folded strip of masking tape beneath the mug. Someone had written my address, my first name, and keeps kitchen light on. The narrow handwriting pressed deeply enough to score the cardboard beneath it. On the reverse were 3 times, 8:10, 9:35, and 11:42. Those were the moments I had walked past the kitchen window that evening. I called my sister Nina and tried to make the story sound ridiculous. She interrupted when I read the 3 times and ordered me to leave. My keys normally hung from a brass hook beside the front door. The hook was empty. I found them inside the returned mug, resting on a folded grocery receipt. The receipt was mine, printed by the market 2 blocks away that afternoon. One purchase had been circled with the same black marker, a replacement lock cylinder. I bought it because the old back door lock sometimes stuck during humid weather. The unopened cylinder still waited on my kitchen counter beside a roll of paper towels. Nina stayed on speaker while I stepped toward the front door. The porch bulb clicked off before my hand reached the knob. Through the side glass, I saw a man standing beside the porch post. He wore a long gray work coat despite the heavy July heat. His narrow face remained beyond the weak spill from my kitchen window. One pale hand rested on the post as though the porch belonged to him. I backed away without moving the curtain or speaking his direction. The man did not knock. He lifted a square of cardboard with one word written across it, free. Nina whispered that she was calling the police from her own phone. The man lowered the sign, and something scraped against my back door. The chain moved once inside its track. The man on the porch smiled toward the sound behind me. That was when I understood he was not alone. I grabbed the packaged lock cylinder because it was the heaviest object within reach. The kitchen light went dark, leaving only Nina's name glowing on my phone. In the blackness, the back door chain scraped a second time. The chain scraped again, followed by a patient metallic click from the old lock. I crouched behind the kitchen island and covered my phone's bright screen. Nina said officers were coming, but the nearest patrol was 15 minutes away. 15 minutes sounded longer than the entire year I had lived there. The back door opened 1 inch before the chain caught it. A thin metal tool appeared through the gap and lifted toward the brass track. I struck the tool with the packaged cylinder, and it vanished without a curse. The person outside tested the chain again as calmly as someone checking a gate. At the front window, the gray, coated man raised my spare house key. I'd kept that key beneath a blue planter until the previous week. Only someone watching my porch routine could have known its hiding place. I moved it after finding the planter slightly crooked one morning. At the time, I blamed a squirrel digging in the potting soil. Now the crooked planter became the first entry on a list I had never seen. My front knob turned once, but the deadbolt held. The gray, coated man placed the spare key on my mat and stepped away. He wanted me to know the key was no longer his only way inside. The back door tool touched the chain again, forcing me toward the hallway. I remembered the small laundry room window above my washing machine. It was too narrow for my body but opened near the driver's side of my car. I could push my phone outside and trigger the alarm using my key fob. The noise might wake the retired couple next door and bring witnesses. I crawled away from the island while Nina counted each breath. Halfway to the laundry room, a floorboard creaked inside my bedroom. The sound came from inside the house. My bedroom door stood open 6 inches. Although I always shut it, the air conditioner made the loose frame rattle whenever the door stayed open. The gap widened without revealing a hand. Someone was already behind that door. Nina heard my breathing change and told me not to move. A scuffed black boot eased into the hallway, damp with dark curbside soil. The same soil filled the strip where my giveaway box had waited. The man behind the door had entered before I locked up for the night. He had waited while I showered, called Nina, and searched the windows. The back door noise had only pushed me toward his hiding place. I slid backward until my shoulder touched the wall. The bedroom door opened another inch, and a pale eye appeared near the latch. 3 sharp knocks sounded from the front porch before the hidden man moved. A teenage voice shouted, "Mara, do not open it." It was Eli Brooks from the house across the street. Eli worked evenings at a grocery store and usually biked home near midnight. He called through the glass that he had seen the gray-coated man before. For 2 weeks, the man collected free items without taking them home. He photographed labels, houses, windows, and anyone who answered a door. Eli followed him once and found a shopping cart beneath the railroad bridge. The cart contained household objects arranged carefully by street address. The boot withdrew, and porch boards groaned as the gray coat approached Eli. Nina begged me to stay hidden until the police arrived. My alarm button was 10 feet away, beyond the open bedroom doorway. Reaching it meant crossing the pale eye watching from that gap. Doing nothing meant leaving Ellie alone with the man outside. I gripped the lock cylinder and crawled toward the laundry room. The eye followed me without blinking as I crossed the doorway. I ran 3 steps and slammed the laundry room door behind me. The hidden man hit it from the hallway a second later. The hollow panel bowed inward beneath his shoulder. Eli shouted again from outside, and the gray coat answered calmly. "She put something out for pickup," he said. "We are only collecting it." The hidden man struck my door again, tearing one screw from the hinge. I opened the laundry window, reached outside, and pressed my key fob. My car horn exploded into the quiet street, and porch lights flickered on. The pounding stopped for one hopeful second. Then the alarm died while my thumb still held the button. Through the window, I saw the gray coat holding my disconnected battery cable. He had opened the hood using the release lever inside my house. The bedroom man hit the laundry door again, and the top hinge snapped. The broken door leaned inward, leaving a black triangle above the washing machine. A hand reached through and searched blindly for the lock. I swung the metal cylinder package and caught his fingers. He pulled back with a low gasp and hit the panel again. Eli yelled that police lights were visible at the end of the street. The gray-coated man stepped onto my porch instead of running toward the alley. For the first time, the kitchen window revealed his entire narrow face. He looked around 50, with small gray eyes and receding dirty, blonde hair. He pointed at the cardboard box inside my house. Then he drew one finger across his throat, like a teacher correcting an answer. The bedroom man kicked the laundry door free from its lower hinge. He wore a cloth mask and dark clothes without any identifying color. I climbed onto the washer and forced my shoulders through the narrow window. The frame scraped my ribs, and my jeans caught on the metal latch. The masked man grabbed my ankle as I twisted into the side yard. I kicked backward until my black canvas shoe came off in his hand. I fell beside the car, landing hard enough to empty my lungs. The porch, driveway, and alley formed one exposed strip under the streetlights. Eli stood behind his bicycle, waving toward the approaching patrol car. The gray-coated man moved between us without any visible hurry. He carried the returned red mug with my key clicking inside it. The masked man climbed halfway through the laundry window behind me. I had to choose between running toward Eli and hiding beneath my car. Running might let the gray coat reach Eli before I did. Hiding would leave the masked man knowing exactly where I had gone. I grabbed the hood prop and slammed the hood over the loose cable. The horn stayed silent, but the headlights flashed once. That burst lit the gray-coated man from below and made him hesitate. Eli threw his bicycle across the driveway between us. The man tripped over its rear wheel and dropped my mug. It shattered on the concrete, scattering the spare key and masking tape. I ran toward Eli as the first patrol car turned onto our block. A police radio crackled while the hallway mirror reflected the broken laundry room door. The masked man disappeared behind the house instead of following me. The gray coat rose and walked calmly across my lawn. An officer ordered him to stop, and he raised both empty hands. He said he found my property at the curb and was returning it. That story might have worked if the tape had stayed inside the mug. The roll carried dozens of folded labels written in the same narrow hand. Every label listed an address, a first name, and one household habit. Dog out at 6. Back window never locked. Nurse sleeps days. Child waits alone after school. My label said, moving Friday. Sister arrives noon. I had mentioned that detail only while standing inside my kitchen. Officers found the masked man beneath a neighbor's deck before sunrise. His pockets held thin tools, gloves, and photographs of front rooms. Police searched the shopping cart beneath the railroad bridge later that morning. They recovered keys, medicine bottles, family pictures, and pieces of mail. The objects were not valuable enough to sell. They mattered because residents noticed when those objects disappeared. The men returned selected items to measure how each person reacted. Some carried the objects outside, while others searched their homes alone. Some called family and revealed who might come to help. The giveaway boxes were tests disguised as an ordinary neighborhood ritual. The gray coat watched which doors opened and which neighbors stayed dark. He never explained why my box appeared inside before he was ready. The masked man claimed he entered through my back door during sunset. That was impossible because I had cooked beside that door until dark. Investigators believed he used an old key from a previous tenant. My landlord could not account for 2 copies from an earlier lock set. I moved out the next morning instead of waiting until Friday. Eli and his mother helped load my car while police photographed each room. We found 7 pencil marks beneath the kitchen window, as exterior trim. The oldest marks looked weathered enough to predate my lease. At my sister's apartment, I donated only through a staff center. 3 months later, a padded envelope arrived without a return address. Inside was the shoe I lost escaping through the laundry window. Both arrested men had remained in custody since that night. A fresh strip of masking tape was wrapped around the shoe. It listed my sister's address and one new observation: keeps hallway light on. I never learned who wrote that label or watched her apartment. The pickup list had always included more than 2 collectors. For more original animated horror, stay close to the ordinary details people ignore. Would you have crossed that hallway to warn Eli? Or hidden until police arrived?